Nintendo is best known for making video games for kids, but hidden within some of their most popular IPs are things that should not be consumed by everyone. I curated a list of 5 different things within Nintendo video games that should strip them of their E ratings realistically, and honestly, still creep me out to this day. Throughout this video, you will see the entries get scarier and scarier, and by the end, the most unintended, scariest thing Nintendo has ever put within a Nintendo product. Starting off with Nintendo's flagship series, Mario, with Mario 64. Mario 64 was ahead of its time, in top of class in graphics and 3D map design, but with that came a price, especially with the rise of horror games and content about liminal spaces. It came with no surprise that people started to look back on Mario 64 and realize that this game just felt a little off, with long, creepy hallways, horrifying paintings, and a piano that, as a child, shocked us all. And although the game isn't inherently creepy, I want you to play on a CRT at 2 a.m. and just roam around the castle a little bit. I think after a few minutes, you'll understand why this is the first on the list. Mario Galaxy 2. Now, Mario Galaxy 2 is a sequel to one of the best games of all time, Mario Galaxy. I genuinely love it, and it's hailed as a really strong sequel. But within one of the galaxies, the Shiverbird Galaxy, more observant players would have seen a few extra pairs of eyes staring at them. With no explanation, the community turned to the actual data of the game. Inside the game's file, there is a name for these 3 sprites: Hell Valley Sky Trees. Apparently the Shiverburn Galaxy was supposed to be called Hell Valley in the beta of the game, until they obviously changed it because it's a Nintendo game, but still, Hell Valley Sky Tree, you knew what you were doing with this one. You know when someone asks you what fictitious world you would most want to live in, a lot of people in that conversation are going to say Pokemon. And if you just stay surface level, that might seem like a perfect answer. But the more you dig into the Pokemon world, the less confident I become that you would want to stick with that option. When I was about 8 years old is the first time I ever played Pokemon Platinum, and when I finally got to the legendary of the game, Giratina, I was met with a shadowy figure with 2 eyes and a creepy smiling face. And when you finally finish the interaction with this legendary, before you're even able to catch it, you are given this. An actual jump scare within a Pokemon game. That in of itself is scary, and especially at the time as an 8-year-old, it caught me off guard and something I did not expect to be in a Pokemon game. The real reason you wouldn't want to live in the Pokemon world is the Pokemon itself. The early Pokemon games are notorious for having some absolutely absurd Pokédex entries, so I picked out 3 that are just plain horrifying, ranging from cursing your family all the way to literal murder. Starting off with Ninetales, a beautiful fox Pokemon with 9 different tails seems absolutely awesome. But in Pokemon Red and Blue, Ninetales' Pokédex entry is as follows. Very smart and very vengeful. Grabbing one of its many tails could result in a 1,000-year curse. Imagine just wanting to touch a fluffy tail and 40 generations of your family are cursed because of the vengeance of a cute Pokemon. Next, and still not even the creepiest, is Haunter. By licking, it saps the victim's life. It causes shaking that won't stop until the victim's demise, which makes this scene in the anime a lot more creepy. And in my opinion, the worst within the Pokemon series is actually 2 separate Pokédex entries from different games that tell a full story. Victory Bell. In Pokemon Red and Blue, Victory Bell's Dex entry is as follows. Said to live in huge colonies deep in the jungles, although no one has ever returned from there. Which, by itself, terrifying. If you mix it with the Pokédex entry from Pokemon Yellow, you get a truly haunting tale. Lures prey with the sweet aroma of honey. Swallowed whole, the prey is melted in a day, bones and all. Are you kidding me? That is a truly haunting way to die. Rated E, by the way. Zelda is kind of inherently creepy. There's really weird characters, really weird plot lines, but the things within this list are not just creepy, but honestly downright horrifying. Starting off with the only rated T game in this list, Twilight Princess. Because I genuinely love this game, but also this cutscene still stands out even in a rated T game. And that is, I just call it the scary cutscene because it's actually awful. But this is a cutscene that happens within the game after you kill the giant bug and steal its soul, and it's really, really creepy. This cutscene has music eerie enough to put someone into the loony bin, laughing that sounds happy at the beginning and then slowly devolves into creepy and terrifying, and finally Link turning to the dark side. Now, if you have 3 minutes, go watch this whole cutscene. There's a lot of just weird things in it. It really gets me even to this day, and it really doesn't fit within the game. Like, the whole atmosphere of this game is already kind of dark, but this cutscene still takes it to the next level, where even on a rated T game, it's super weird. Finally getting into the top 3 scariest things I could find in Nintendo games, starting off with the moon from Majora's Mask. Now let me put you in Majora's Mask. The world is going to end in 3 days. Instead of a normal looking moon, you see this looking upon you, knowing that this, within 3 days, will crash into the earth and kill everybody on it. Now in Majora's Mask, the moon is a real threat. So real, in fact, that you see Link and the entire world destroyed. Rated E for everyone is going to die. To Ocarina of Time and the nightmarish monstrosity that is Dead Hand. Under the well of Kakariko Village, you are met with a monster of unlimited hands, and when those hands grab you, out comes a hideous beast with a zombie-like head, a large jaw, green blood running through its seemingly opaque body, covered in red blotches thought to be bloodstains. The creature uses its hands to subdue its prey, at which point its grotesque body emerges from the ground to consume you. With no hope to escape, you die to a monster with the likes we still haven't seen again almost 30 years later. This experience, this creature is completely out of the norm in this game. There's so many fun-loving things about Ocarina of Time, and there are some creepy moments when you walk out of the Temple of Time and there's all these re-deads everywhere, but everything in the Zelda series pales in comparison to seeing this. Especially if you played this when you were a kid. I'm terrified of it now, and I can imagine playing this and seeing it for the first time when you were a kid. It would absolutely give me nightmares. And finally, what I consider to be the creepiest thing within Nintendo is actually not in a video game at all, but instead a Nintendo add-on. Nintendo loves their external add-ons, a zapper gun, a set of bongos, and the worst one, the Game Boy camera. An add-on to the Game Boy that allows you to take selfies back in 1998. The camera itself was paired with a printer where you could actually print off your photos, but within the software itself is a run button. When this button was clicked multiple times, you had a small chance to see one of 3 disturbing faces, all of which are accompanied by one of 2 titles. Don't Be So Silly, and the more horrifying of the two, Who Are You Running From? As a kid, this is something that would have genuinely haunted me, thinking you are using a cool gadget for your gameplay only to discover it holds genuine horror. If I found this out as a kid, I don't think I could sleep that night. It is so scary. Look at this. Imagine opening up your Game Boy, clicking a run button a few times without knowing, and seeing this. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel because we are going to do a lot more commentary on video games in general, but even more Nintendo. As well as I am actually playing through Ocarina of Time for the first time right now, like fully through the playthrough. I just saw the Dead Hands for the first time like last week. So I'm almost done, and I'm going to be making an entire video playing through the entirety of Ocarina of Time for the first time, kind of doing a commentary style video like this. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe and follow along, and have a great, fantastic